Let's take a look at the remarks of the assistant LA Fire Department chief that resurfaced a couple of days ago. If this isn't proof that DEI is cancer, then nothing else is. In this clip, she blames victims for her inability to carry out her duties.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire. My response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
What I don't understand is, why wasn't this an issue when it was first released and said? Why didn't anybody say something? Why did they even release this? I mean, this is absolute insanity. Here's a clip of why it's very necessary for a firefighter to be able to carry any sized individual. Take a look.
Inside, and then it explodes out of control.
We gotta get the dad out of there!
Smoke went up through the roof, and so then everybody came running out. I felt helpless. I didn't know what to do.
Beth Lederock just happened to be passing by and started rolling on her cell phone. As everyone panics, you see this man in a blue Dodgers cap calmly walk towards the growing flames. Trying to make his way to safety, Robert Wells, 73 years old, attached to an oxygen tank.
Flame was really, really intense. And then I kind of just went.
Wells goes into shock. The fire continues to grow when suddenly.
Oh, thank God!
He's out, slung over the shoulder of the man in the blue Dodgers cap.
Snatched me up and away we went, you know. I was bouncing on his back, you know, my hands like this. I said, wow. Told him that was one hell of a ride.
It's not just the DEI hires that are contributing to the LA fires, but it's also the incompetence and the lack of funding within the department. Take a look as Kristine Collies says the department was underfunded by $17 million, which resulted in several fire trucks just sitting in a parking lot.
It is my job as a chief to make sure that my firefighters are funded appropriately, are equipped appropriately, and they're trained appropriately. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm in this seat. I will not stop until I get that for them.
You've spoken with the Fire Commission. You have made it very clear that this department is underfunded, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
This department was asked to take a $17 million budget cut.
That is correct.
How does that affect your department?
It impacts our ability to provide service, absolutely.
How did that affect the firefight in the Palisades and beyond?
So, first and foremost, what I just said before is making sure our firefighters have the ability to provide service. So $17 million cut did not allow us to do what we needed to do. And where that impacted us specifically for Palisades was our ability to move into reserve apparatus. The $17 million cut into our ability to utilize resources that should be at our disposal that we were unable to fix because the funding was not there because of cuts to our mechanics.
What type of apparatus are we talking about specifically?
Mainly fire engines and ambulances.
This is video you are looking at right now because NBC4 wanted to make sure that those fire ambulances and those fire engines were actually out of commission. News Shopper 4 flying over 2 locations today, and we saw just that. Chief Crowley, she's been bold, she's been transparent.
Now, later that day, Mayor Karen Bass held a press conference, and the same police chief, Kristin, was there behind her when a very awkward question was asked by one of the reporters.
When Chief Crowley walked into your office yesterday, were you planning to fire her? Were you angry with her over her media appearances on CNN and Fox? And do you agree with her that the fire department is very underfunded?
Right there.
Let me just say that, as you see here, the chief and I are lockstep in our #1 mission. And that mission is to get us past this emergency right now. We want to make sure that we save lives, we save housing, we save businesses, and if there are differences that we have, we will continue to deal with those in private. Thank you.
Planning to fire her?
No.
Missed a golden opportunity for her to say absolutely when she's standing right behind her and they're in the middle of an emergency. In October, just 3 months ago, Donald Trump was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he pretty much called out this problem that we're having in California right now. Take a look.
Think of it, big one to go dry. Could have all of the water you need. All of that land would have more water. The whole thing could be like that little patch.
Yeah.
Literally, I'd say I was with Devin Nunes, a congressman, and other congressmen. We were going up. I was visiting that because they asked me to go up and visit their territory, and I did. But I kept saying, look at this land. It's beautiful, but it's so dry. And I thought they were going through like a desert, like a drought. They said, no, we have water, but it gets... So I looked into it.
What is the fish?
And I got it done. I could have water for all of that land. Water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. When a tree falls down, after 18 months, it becomes very dry. It's like, you know, like real firewood. It's bad. You know, a tree that's up, these are all things I learned the hard way, the easy way. But when a tree is up, it sucks water. It's wet. I went to they had a couple of horrible forest fires in California, and I said, you know, you had a lot of trees standing. Yes, they were healthy trees there. I said, with this intense heat, that you could see they were charred a little bit on the bottom, but they were going to be all right because they're soaking wet because they suck up the water, right? But when they fall, they're like, you know, it's like lighting a match.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to clean, they call it maintain your forest. So I was with the head of Austria. He said, you know, it's a shame. I see all those forest fires in California, and all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, you know, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
we'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that have fallen, that, you know, are like, so many things this country. By the way,
could you really
rake
the whole forest, though? I don't think you could rake the whole forest.
Well, I think
you can get rid of the dead fall, but raking all the leaves?
You could certainly get rid of the dead, okay?
Yeah, I think that's the real issue.
You know, environmentally, they don't want to do that. They said, you know, it's got to be nature and all this stuff. But in the meantime, this is exactly right. But you could have, so it was the Department of Commerce that needed the approvals, but Gavin Newsom had to sign them. I got it all done. Nobody could believe it. It was all done. I said, I got it. You got so much water. All you have to do is sign. And that guy didn't want to sign.
Did he not want to sign because that would be a political victory for you?
I think, no, he didn't. No, I don't think so. He used to say he's a great president and we got along. We did. We actually got along at that point. But I think somebody said you just can't continue to call him a great president. You know, they do say that. But we had it all done. He didn't sign. And then we got on to other things. And I every time I go to California, I said, you have so much water. They don't know it.
In other but relevant news, considering Biden gave a blank check to California, FEMA is ending temporary housing assistance for 2,000 North Carolinians affected by the Hurricane Helen disaster. All of this in the midst of a snowstorm that has rolled into the area this weekend. Now, before you lose hope, they did extend the voucher program for 24 hours, so one extra night. Ryan, the founder of Operation Boots on the Ground, says that the residents are terrified and they're going to have nowhere to stay for their families after today. But we did find out last night pretty late that FEMA is extending it a whole whopping 24 hours. Approximately 2,000 households will still be expected to move out of their hotel rooms on Saturday. Continued eligibility is determined on a case-by-case basis. When eligibility ends, FEMA notifies survivors approximately 7 days prior to their checkout date. The agency is also closing disaster recovery centers in the area until Monday, due to weather conditions. The incoming White House press secretary says that this is unfair and arguably criminal. To fill in the gaps that the government is not filling in, local residents and businesses are donating their resources and time. Bumgarner Oil, for instance, has donated 22,000 gallons of product that includes propane, something necessary for the winter conditions, to the local residents.
We've put on a series of propane giveaways where we will take one of our trucks up to an area and set up for a few hours and allow people to bring some cylinders by and have them filled at no charge. So far we have done, I think we're doing our 6th one today. So far we've given away 22,000 gallons of product since the storm hit. When the storm hit, we really talked internally and realized it's not often that when something like this happens that you can help just by doing what you do normally, you know, and what we do is deliver fuel. So we felt like knowing that winter was coming. I mean, right after the storm hit, temperatures dropped for a weekend in the mountains, and you know, we have friends up there and customers, and so we were very in tune to what was going on, and you know, just felt like this was the right thing to do. You know, these are just good, hardworking people, and you know, they're just devastated, you know, in a lot of ways, and you know, everybody's situation is a little bit different, but just very appreciative. We've got a lot of positive comments and feedback. You know, it's been very impactful for our drivers that have been, you know, doing this work and going out there and meeting these people and filling their tanks. And, you know, so you have some come to you with tears in their eyes and just, you know, just devastated by what's going on, but also very appreciative. You know, we've seen a lot of just people helping people. And it's just, hey, that's my neighbor, that's my, you know, my friend or my kinsman, and you know, they need something, and I can help them. And so, you know, we believe that, you know, we've been given a great responsibility to help our neighbors, and to much is given, much is expected.
In yesterday's video, I asked if you thought that the TikTok ban was necessary for our protection, or if you thought that there were other nefarious reasons for it. Timmy Birch 9126 says, yes, ban it now. Open Scholar 9908 says, employers probably want to ban it because so much time is wasted on it. Don't forget to check the pinned comment below for today's question. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and we'll see you tomorrow.